Welcome, my name is Paul Bishop, and I'm a principal at CGR, leading our local government practice. Today I'll be providing a brief overview of local and county government operations as background information for the RAISE Commission and the working groups that are supporting its mission. First, a little bit about CGR. CGR was founded in 1915 by George Eastman with the goal of improving local government. We are a nonprofit, nonpartisan, independent organization. We are funded primarily through fee-for-service contracts. We work with local governments and foundations throughout the Northeast United States and beyond. Our relevant expertise is in local government structure and practice, policy research and evaluation, as well as data analysis. We're growing our capacity around racial equity analysis. On this project, the consultant partners on race and equity will be bringing specific expertise around racism and structural equity. CGR was engaged by the City of Rochester and Monroe County to support the work of the RAISE Commission. We will be involved with each of the working groups, helping formulate meeting agendas, ensuring that meeting minutes are being taken, and helping with the meeting structure. We'll provide technical assistance with working group discussion and keeping track of the workflow process. As necessary, we'll help create survey instruments and other methods for engaging the community. We'll also provide research on local laws and policies, as well as identifying laws and policies from other communities that can serve as examples as those that advance equity. Throughout the project, we may be asked to take on additional roles as needed, and at the end, we will create the final report of the commission with the help of the different commissioners. We'll start our overview of local governments by talking about the City of Rochester. The city structure is similar to that of towns and villages, but it has a few unique features. City of Rochester's leader is the mayor. They're the executive that oversees city government. Their role includes appointing and removing department heads, including the police chief, the fire chief, and the head of Department of Environmental Services. They have a key role in preparing the annual budget. They propose legislation to City Council. They sign or veto legislation that is passed by the City Council. They can initiate planning and strategic projects for the City of Rochester. They have the power to appoint 5 of the 7 Rochester Housing Authority board members. And they have a strong relationship with the Rochester City School District. Rochester City School District is a fiscally dependent school district and has no independent taxing authority. They rely on the City of Rochester to raise their money, although the City of Rochester, including the mayor, don't have line item control over the school district's budget. The city school district budget does become a part of the mayor's budget. The major city departments and functions include the Emergency Communications Department, which handles the 911 services. That service is provided in collaboration with Monroe County and is an example of shared services that exist in our community. It has been a joint operation for several decades and was one of the first joint operations in New York State. Environmental Services is one of the larger departments in the City of Rochester and is really the department that most residents of the city interact with frequently. They manage the parks, maintain the water supply, have an architecture and engineering department that design new streets or maintain the renovations of buildings. They're responsible for the refuse collection, the maintenance of cemeteries, maintenance and construction of new streets, sidewalks, and the parking. The City Fire Department and Police Department are 2 of the largest departments by both budget and manpower in the city. The Neighborhood and Business Development Departments oversee zoning, permits, code enforcement, housing development, including federal funds like the Community Development Block Grant and the Home Grants, as well as the city's involvement in economic development. Recreation and Youth Services is another important function of the City of Rochester. They operate the R centers, or formerly the recreation centers, in different parts of the city, as well as oversee the public market. And the city funds and staffs certain libraries, although they are also part of the county-wide library system. The Rochester City Council are elected either to specific zones or from specific zones in the city, or there are several at-large members as well. City Council proposes and adopts local laws, including zoning and land use policies. They amend and approve the budget and therefore levy the taxes, including the amount that the Rochester City School District has set forth. Again, the City Council doesn't control the size of the school district's budget. They are required by state law to have a maintenance of effort, meaning that they need to continue to fund the school district at historic levels or through growth. The City Council can focus public attention through research and public hearings. They confirm the department heads and volunteer members of city boards and commissions. They conduct an annual independent audit of the city's finances and investigate city departments with access to all records, as well as an ability to compel testimony and issue subpoenas. There are certain factors that limit mayoral and council authority. State statute and authority, for example, the civil service law being a recent example that we can talk about, as the City of Rochester has proposed requiring new hires for the Rochester Police Department to live in the city. However, that's not something that's under local control. Civil service law at New York State level prohibits municipalities from requiring employees to live in the city. That's something that Rochester, as well as Buffalo and Syracuse, are currently lobbying the state legislature to change, and we'll see how that process progresses. Collective bargaining agreements also can limit the mayoral or council authority. For example, the contract with the Locust Club or the International Association of Firefighters or the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees all have strong union contracts, and changes to those contracts are subject to collective bargaining and perhaps arbitration. And as I've mentioned previously, there's no management or policy authority over the Rochester City School District. In fact, there's limited role in some of the key functions or key focus areas of the RAISE project, including education, healthcare, mental health and addiction services, job creation, and business development. Monroe County has 19 towns, 10 villages, and 18 school districts. Each of these is governed by its own separately elected board and has the ability to raise its own taxes. Each class of government is required to provide a specific portfolio of services, and they may also choose to provide additional services. The towns and villages operate in a similar manner to the city, with an elected council and a chief executive, but they have unique responsibilities and powers under state law. While the RAISE Commission is not specifically looking at towns, villages, and the local school districts, some of the policy, procedure, and law suggestions that come out of our work may influence or be under the control of these organizations. The Monroe County Executive is elected to serve as the executive overseeing all of county government. They appoint and remove department heads, although the sheriff, district attorney, and clerk are independently elected. The county exec prepares the county's annual budget, proposes legislation to the county legislature, signs and vetoes legislation, leads economic development through the appointment of members to the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation, and oversees the direction of COMIDA, which is controlled by the legislature, and MCIDC through the Department of Planning and Development. Monroe County Executive has no formal oversight or relationship with the county schools. Some of the major county departments and functions include the Human Services Department that provides income support, medical nutrition assistance, including the Medicaid program, Children and Family Services, the Youth Bureau, and Mental Health. Monroe County also has an airport authority, whose members are appointed through the county legislature and the county executive. There's a board of elections that's overseen by commissioners that are appointed by the Republican and Democratic parties. Monroe County Clerk, as mentioned before, is separately elected, as is the district attorney. Monroe County has an environmental services department that focuses on running the pure water system, as well as maintaining a solid waste and recycling program for the whole county. There's Monroe Community Hospital, which provides extended rehabilitation services as well as long-term skilled nursing care. Monroe County has a substantial parks department, and as mentioned previously, has a planning and development department that provides comprehensive planning for the county, economic development through the MCIDC as well as COMIDA, and workforce development, which is currently contracted through Rochester Works. Planning and Development Department also administers federal housing funding, including the Community Development Block Grant Program and the Home Program, as well as collaborates with the Greater Rochester Housing Partnership and the city on affordable housing programs. Other major departments include the Public Defender, who is appointed by the legislature for a 2-year term. That person represents low-income individuals in criminal court, family court, and surrogate court. The Public Health Department, that we've been seeing an awful lot of lately with the COVID crisis. The Public Safety Department, which oversees the probation office, 911 in coordination with the city, the Stop DWI program, and alternatives to incarceration. The Sheriff, who is separately elected, oversees the corrections or the jail, road patrol, the civil unit, and court security. Road patrol answers the 911 calls for a number of towns and villages in Monroe County that don't have their own police department. The Transportation Department of the county maintains 1,500 lane miles of county highways, bridges, culverts, and traffic signals. They do contract some of those services back to the towns. In addition, the Rochester-Genesee Regional Transit Authority is overseen by a board of independently appointed trustees, 4 of whom are appointed by the county, 3 by the city, and there are 14 total. They are approved by New York State's governor. Monroe County has a water authority that, although independently governed, is managed by board members who are appointed from Monroe County. Similarly, the trustees of Monroe Community College are appointed by the county executive and the county legislature. Monroe Community College receives substantial funding from the county, although student tuition is the largest source of revenue for the college operation. There are 29 Monroe County legislators. They are elected for 2-year terms and represent about 25,000 residents each. The Monroe County Legislature proposes or adopts local laws. However, they have little or no role in zoning and land use policy, which is primarily set by the cities, towns, and villages in the community. The Monroe County Legislature amends and approves the budget, as well as then levies the taxes to support those activities. They focus public attention through research, public hearings, and activities at the legislative meetings. They appoint the board of the COMIDA, or County of Monroe Industrial Development Authority. They confirm appointments of key department heads, including Health and Human Services, Public Safety, and Public Health, and as mentioned earlier, they appoint the Public Defender. They are empowered to conduct annual independent audit of the county finances, and they may investigate county and town offices or officers with access to records and the ability to issue subpoenas, although this power is rarely used. The factors that limit the county executive and legislative authority are similar to those that influence the City of Rochester. For example, state statute limits the changes that can be made to civil service positions. Also, collective bargaining agreements cover the majority of the Monroe County workforce, and changes to those need to be handled through a negotiation process. 3 key county officials are independently elected: the sheriff, district attorney, and clerk. They do not report directly to the county executive or the legislature. However, the exec and legislature do have influence through the control of the county budget. County operation has limited role in some of the key RAISE focus areas. There's no direct role in education. In healthcare, they operate the Monroe Community Hospital and have influence over the Medicaid program, but they do not provide much in the way of direct medical care. There is some mental health and addiction services provided through the county, but the majority of those services are done through private providers. The county does have a role in job creation and business development, but the majority of that work is done through private authorities. In conclusion, our local government has multiple layers and a variety of direct and indirect connections between them. Changes to or creation of laws, policies, and procedures at the local level are the focus of the RAISE Commission. Another important role is to identify state and federal laws that influence the local community and could be changed through lobbying efforts in a long-term relationship. If you have questions on this presentation, please feel free to contact me at my email, pbishop@cgr.org. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to working with you on this important community initiative.